Okay, I know that this is such a high quality video here with my lights that have this shine that's happening, but whatever. It's all good. So we'll just go ahead and get started now. So we're going to be standing, right on directly over those heels. So this is just how we're kind of starting with a little bit of awareness into what's happening. So you want to get those heels down and making sure that we're going right next into our hips, making sure that those hips feel in a neutral position. So if I turn to the side here, that means I'm, not tilted forward, or you have to kind of feel how your hips can be mobile, mobile as your legs stay steady, as the spine stays steady. So that's why we do kind of this rock with the hips back and forth. So I'm tilting forward, I'm scooping under. Inhale as you rock forward. Exhale as you come back. Great. Now we're going to come right into the center again and then pull up through the top of the head, right? I need to like shift myself away from this light a little bit. So we're going to pull up through the top of the head like you feel a string pulling that spine super, super straight. So we're going to take a big inhale. And then on the exhale, just pull that spine up really tall, getting as long as you can out of the top of the head. So once again, big inhale and exhale into the tallest spine you can get. So as we're doing that, notice what's happening in the body. It's almost like you feel those hips going into the right neutral level position. You feel your abs engage in a serious way, right, to support the length of the spine. And you also feel those shoulders naturally go down, the arms reach down. So as the head goes up, everything else reaches down, right? Big inhale again. And exhale out of the length in the top of the head. Notice everything that happens, everything that's happening. You don't see it happening, you're going to feel it happening all through this area, through your hips, through your spine. Let's go ahead, take a big inhale now. Arms reach overhead. Now exhale to the side, big inhale. Now we're going to go ahead and twist, keeping the spine super long. I know this looks easy, this twist looks easy, but not if you're really working on engaging the length in that spine. So inhale, center, keep the spine as long as possible, long as possible. So keep growing out of the top of the head. Takes a lot in the core. Big inhale here. Now let's pull over for a little lateral bend. Now, if you can, straighten out that arm, right? Reach that arm farther, straighten it. We're pulling this line from the opposite foot, pressing down as the hand pulls away. Inhale into the center. Same thing, same thing. Opposite side. Reach, reach, reach. Reach those two hands in opposite directions. Come back into center. Big inhale. Now exhale, arms overhead, and we're gonna go ahead and pull, pull, pull that belly button in as you roll over. Okay, just holding this wherever you want to be. You might be a little bit higher, that's okay. Just kind of let your arms hang, though. We're letting our arms hang from everything else. Big inhale, exhale. Now, we're not going to go down to all fours yet. We're going to bend in those knees, slowly bring ourselves up so that that back is level, arms are reaching out. We're now in a little bit of a squat, but you want to keep that back level, kind of tuck those hips under, right? So we're not going to have our back end going out. We're trying to bring it back under, just like you're sitting on a chair there, right? So we'll get a little deeper in that. You can lift the heels if you want to, and then press all the way back up to the top. Big inhale at the top. Exhale. Use that exhale to grow the spine long first, right? We grow that spine long, and then we bring ourselves down as we're still growing out of the top of the head. I lifted my heels, now I'm going to press all the way back up. So these knee bends keep a really flat back. Big inhale at the top. Once again, we're coming down. Heels lift. Great. Hold that and press back up. Let's come on to all fours. So now as we come on to all fours, we're going to do a little cat cow and then a tail wag. So tail wag is combining cat cow with a lateral bend. So as we do a lateral bend, as we're on all fours, we're just bringing a hip out and looking back at that hip. So the spine is twisting, it's not twisting, sorry, bending, that side bend, that lateral bend to look at the back hip. Sometimes if you pick up the foot, you can kind of get into it deeper and you look at that foot as you swing it out. Then you swing it the opposite direction to look on that side, right? So swing, looking, swing. Great. So we're going to pick it up again, swing, one to side, swing, so that we can show our spine now. We can move laterally, drop that foot. We're going to go into cat-cow. So big inhale. And now exhale. Round that spine. Round that spine. You're going to pull up. Feel those hips scoop under. Palms press away from shoulders. Now drop in the center. Let the tailbone and head extend. Quick inhale. Exhale. Round. You're pulling that belly button up into the center of the spine, getting as deep as you can in that rounded back. Drop the belly button to the mat, tailbone and head extend. Quick inhale, exhale, pull, 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 pull. Deep, deep, deep into that, pull up and drop the belly button to the floor, tailbone and head extend. Come back to center. We're going to combine those things. So now I'm going to twist to one side and then round, twist or bend to the other side, drop the belly button in the center. Bend to one side, round. See how we're just going into a fluid motion now? And now reverse that. So just reverse, changing directions, dropping in the center, bend, pull through the middle, bend, drop, come back into center. Let's do some hip circles. Hip circles. So now we're just rolling those hips around, right? Rolling those hips around. Now reverse that circle. So the spine is staying long and neutral as I do this. I'm just letting these hips be really fluid, so you can sink to one side, sink to the other side, really get into that deep stretch into those hips. And you can reverse it again. You can keep going to whatever degree you want to go. Okay, great. Now we're going to lay on our backs. So just laying back down. And for any of you pregnant people, you can build yourself a wedge of cushions like I have. I have some cushions over here that you can just kind of create an elevated situation for your back so that when you come back, you're more here. You try to get something under that spine. I didn't like stack these cushions up very well, but you can try to do that to support down here and just kind of create a little ramp for yourself, a spot for your head, right? So just giving an example of what can happen. Okay, great. Modifications for everybody. So as we lay down, rolling onto our backs, we're going to see how our hips can be fluid in this position now as we're supine. So my feet are planted right in line with my knees, in line with those two hip bones. I'm first going to arch my back. Maybe you can see how I'm arching up, right? That's creating this tilt in my hips where they're tilting forward. And now I'm going to rock back where my spine now is totally glued onto the mat. Spine is glued as I sink back in. So I'm just doing that forward rock where I arch and back rock where I sink back in, right? I'm going forward and back, kind of like I was trying to show when I'm standing. So just forward and back. Now let's lift the hips side to side, but keep the knees steady, keep everything else steady. So it's like if I was holding my two hands here, like my hips, one hip goes up while the other one kind of stays down and planted. See, up on that hip, down, ups. They're just kind of going up, back and forth, but keeping everything else steady on the top half of the body, on the lower half of the body, right? We're just trying to create this fluidity in the hips. Now we're going to combine those movements for pelvic clock. So we arch. I'm going to tip to one side, imprint. That's where I sink in, where my belly button is sinking through that spine onto the mat. Go to the other side and arch. One side, imprint, other side, arch, right? And now start moving through all of those points very fluidly, very fluidly. Reverse it. So you want it to kind of flow like a circle, right? So keep those hips really fluid, flowing around. Great. Let's come back right into center. Okay, it's confusing at first, but the more you understand pelvic clock and you can really work it, you'll understand the genius behind it and how we're really trying to keep it very mobile and fluid, those two hip bones as they support everything below them, everything above. We're not getting locked into that, right? To create more problems down the line. So, okay. Let's go ahead and go into a little bit of our ab curls and toe taps before we go into hundreds. So we're going to bring our palms right behind our head, take a big inhale, and now you're using some upper abdominals just to lift to go wherever you can go. So inhale. You can also have your arms across you. Doesn't matter. That's totally fine. You don't have to come behind your head. Inhale back, exhale, come up. You're just going wherever you can go. Inhale back, making sure going wherever you can go is by making sure that you're using as little head and neck muscle as possible and as much abdominals, especially those upper abs, right? We're getting into those upper abs. Big inhale. Yes, down through the center. Direct the lift from your abdominals. Inhale back. Really just sinking into that. Inhale back. Yep. Inhale back. Press, press, press. Inhale back. Press, keeping those elbows wide. Come all the way back. Arms by your side. We're going to tell the brain, tell your brain to lift your legs with those lower abdominals now, right? We're turning off your quads. Turn them off. Big inhale. Now, lift those legs with those abdominals. Lift with the abdominals. Come right into tabletop. Tabletop is where we have a 90-degree angle, so don't cheat and come in too close. That takes out the work that we want. Send them farther away, at least 90. You can go farther if you want to for an added challenge, but at least 90. Stay at tabletop. Now we're going to drop one leg for a quick tap. Come back up. Drop and pull back in. So try to inhale as you drop and use a huge exhale to pull that leg back up, just turning off all the leg muscle. Inhale. So the deeper you can get in that exhale, the deeper you access those lower abdominals. So inhale as you drop. Exhale, pull back up. Inhale to the drop. Exhale back. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale, drop. Pull in tight. Inhale to the drop. We're going to do a couple more. So inhale to the drop. Last one. Inhale to the drop. Pull. Great. We're going to go right into our hundreds. So big inhale here. And if you don't want to, you don't have to lift the head for hundreds. Just depends. There's always so many modifications. Just be where you need to be. You can even have your hands down if you want to, or I'm sorry, your legs or one leg down, just kind of switch which leg is up and which leg is down. Just be wherever you have to be today. Big inhale. We're lifting that upper body. We're going to start to pulse 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, exhale. And inhale, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And reach in those arms. You want the length. So press the shoulders down and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Last set. Inhale and exhale. And release. Legs go out straight. This is the best part, right? We just worked those abdominals. Now we need to get really long. Stretch out that core. Reach those arms overhead. Get long in the spine. So even as we're laying down, we're trying to pull that head up right towards the arms that are reaching overhead to get super long. So big inhale, get super, super long. Feel like there's 2 points. The heels are pressing one direction and the head is pulling in the opposite direction, right? They're pulling the body apart like you're on a stretching machine. So one more time, big inhale and exhale into the length. Get super, super long. Inhale again. And now this time on the exhale, really lock into those abs. We're automatically bringing the arms up. We come to the 90-degree first, like this right angle to the body, right? And then you continue with the head. So the head continues all the way up and reach, 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 reach. Big inhale, quick inhale there. And now pull right down the center. So watch yourself going right down the middle of your body, centering yourself up, just envisioning that spine slowly coming down onto the mat, one vertebra at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Reach overhead. Big inhale. Exhale. Now, if you need some help getting up because you're still trying to get there, you can always grab a leg to try to help yourself on the way up, whatever you need to do, right? So reach, 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 reach. Quick inhale. Pull back, pull back. These roll downs are so wonderful, so wonderful. You're watching how you go right down the middle of the spine. We want that spine to be as equalized and even as possible, right in between those legs. So go right down the middle. Inhale into the reach. Exhale, arms come up. Continue. Reach as far as you can and pull. And as you're pulling back through that belly button, the shoulders go down naturally. The arms reach longer as you watch yourself be right into the center. Big inhale overhead. Reach from those heels. Press those heels away. Exhale. Continue. And reach, 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 reach as far as you possibly can. Pull right back through. I'm going to grab this, pull it close to me because we're about to do our hamstring stretch. Pull right back through, right down the center, right down the center. Reach overhead. Okay, you can do the hamstring stretch standing if you want to, where if you do it standing, you're just going to be balancing that leg, right? And kind of coming over. So decide where you want to be. If you're standing, that's what you're going to do there. Laying down, you can take a help. I have this ring, but you can also use like a towel or something else. But just as if I'm standing, I'm doing the exact same technical points. I'm centering myself up first. I want to feel equal. I want those hips to be facing, if you're standing and doing this to something, the hips are parallel to it. So we're not opening up. We're trying to keep that parallel. I lift one leg. I put my help around the top of the foot, or you can just use your hands if you want to with a bent leg, but it's helpful to have something. So I'm going to take a big inhale here. On the exhale, I start to arch my back if I'm laying down. I'm arching my back. You can even do this standing a little bit. If you're standing, you're sinking into that hip. But here I'm doing the same thing onto the mat, even while I keep my body nice and even, right? So first, big inhale, hip. So I'm on my left leg and I'm pressing my left hip down into the mat. And then I only pull back on my leg to the degree that I can anchor that hip down. And then I'm crossing to the middle just a little bit to get that huge stretch into this outside, right? These abductors, sending that hip down. Big inhale, exhale into the hip. Great. Let's go to the other side. So I reset first, reset, reset. Send that other leg up. Big inhale, hip goes down. Hip, 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 hip. I pull back only to the degree that it feels okay. So again, big hip, sink, pull, and now come to the inside. Slightly, right? Because I'm still pressing that hip down. This is the same principle. What we have happening, we use in everything else. There's 2 points going in an opposite direction. The hip is going one way, and the foot is trying to pull the opposite direction. Um, all of our stretches, there's a something like that happening, right? 2 points pressing away, come right back to the center, put that down. We're going into our leg circles. So my arms are beside me. I center up on both halves, pick up a leg, engage into that core, start into that circle. I think I said arm circle. I meant leg circle, but we can also do arm circles. Same thing. Same thing. We may do a few of those. So I'm circling around now. Reverse it. Inhale out. Exhale back. Pulling into those abdominals. Pressing my shoulders down, balancing a cup of water on my stomach. Now I'm going to go big. And I'm only making it as big as I can maintain control. Coming across. As I come in, I can pick up my hip a little bit. Inhale out. Because when you come in, you can cross the midline. That's okay. To cross the midline, coming in, I'm going to go all the way out. Lots of control. Come across. Now reverse. Big inhale out. Exhale across. Keep balancing. Keep balancing. Stay centered. Stay centered. It's so easy to start getting off center. So inhale out, exhale across, and drop that leg. No arching in the back, right? That's all the work that's happening. We're lifting the leg from the abdominals. We're making sure the abs hold the spine in that neutral long position so we don't start to arch up and, let go. So big inhale, lift the leg with the abdominals. The abs are doing this work as it starts to circle. Just big inhale out, exhale in, right? Inhale out and reverse that circle. Inhale out, exhale. Inhale, just working into it. All right, we're going to go big. Inhale out, exhale across. Inhale out, exhale across. I'm picking up that hip a little bit as I come to the inside. Now I'm going to reverse it. Inhale out. Your arms are working here too. They're also pressing down by your side to maintain the steady position. Inhale out, exhale across. One more. Inhale out and drop. Okay, great. Now we're going to bend those knees so that you can grab behind your legs, just kind of rolling yourself up. You don't have to roll yourself up either. If you decide to turn on your side and gently get yourself up, you can do that. But if you want to roll up, you can because we're going to be doing a rolling movement, rolling like a ball. So this is something that we should be able to do, safely. And there are modifications with this too. But as you're tucking in tight, you're holding yourself as close as you can, wherever that is, and you're hovering with those feet, right? We're kind of tucking in to the degree that we can. It's going to be different for everybody. Taking a big inhale, and now you just sink into that spine to roll back and rolling moves depending on for modifications for pregnant people, depending on how pregnant you are. You may or may not want to do this. So big inhale, let your body tell you where you're at and what you should or shouldn't be doing. Big inhale, tucking in, rolling to the shoulder blades, come back up, big inhale. Because rolling, yeah, you don't have to do that. Depending on where you're at. Big inhale, tucking in to the shoulder blades come back up. So what is the point of this stuff, these rolling moves, right? We're working on these balancing muscles and everybody's at a different place. You may or may not be able to do it, but we're balancing muscles are all of those things that help us balance in everything else that we're doing, right? When we stand up. Here we're working them safely because we're not going to be standing up where we could fall and break something, but it's kind of a safe position and you can work on the steadiness and trying to stay centered as you go back and come forward, right? Keeping right into that center focus. So let's come out of that. We're going to roll back down so we can do our single and double. So take a huge inhale here. Now in the exhale, everything comes up. Everything comes up. Come to the place where you can be, wherever that is. So you're going to send one leg out as you pull the other one close to you, wherever that is. It's different for everybody. Change, right? And reach into that change. Reach. reach, reach into it, reach. You can even do this with your head down, where you're just pulling your legs in. So there's lots of modifications. And you're trying to stay steady. A little bit of a tuck there in the pelvis, right? If you're laying flat. Okay, we're gonna go for 2 more sets. Great, last one. Balance that cup of water on your stomach. And now bring both those knees in, reach to the feet, and then reach away. Again, if your head is down, you're just going wherever you can go and pull back in. See, there's the modification. You just do whatever you have to do. Inhale away, exhale, reach, 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 and release. Okay, gonna come up, roll up from that, and doing a little bit of an adductor stretch first. So we'll just go wide, with the legs wide to the degree that it feels good. Now, you might want to have something to prop you up as you're sitting here, right? That's why I keep my props close by, because today it feels like my body is telling me. Now, I have two different things, different thicknesses, right? It's my yoga block and then this little pad that I really like too, that I can sit on that's soft. But we're getting there to help get our pelvis, and sometimes we're just too tight. Our hip flexors are tight, low back tight, everything tight. So as soon as I've gotten up, I think you guys can see this. Let me do it here first, or you may not notice, but I can definitely feel it. So as I'm trying to get in this tall spine for this adductor stretch, I can feel everything starting to lock up a little tighter because it's a struggle for me to get into it. Now, the minute I get this block underneath those two sit bones, or whatever it is that you have that you decide to use, you could even sit on a chair and do this or something low. All of a sudden, much better for me. So I'm trying to bring those sit bones right to the edge of this block so I can get as tall as possible. Now I can open up a little wider in this adductor stretch. So I'm taking a big inhale, tilting forward. I just need to get myself a little more squared up, tilting forward just to the degree with my flat back first. Flat back, but you can also start to round forward into that. Just feeling the stretch wherever it feels good. So let's roll back up, big inhale at the top, tilt forward with that flat back, flat back. We're just going to sink into that adductor stretch just to wherever it feels good. Wherever it feels good. I have my support, or you can be doing this sitting on a low table or, any your couch, and just opening up just to kind of sink into that. Although a cushion, not quite as the degree of support that you may want to have. You might start sinking into that, and it might not get you into that tall spine. Okay, spine stretch forward. So I'm bringing those legs back together. They can be hip width, and I'm still sitting on my block. Big inhale as the arms reach forward. And now on the exhale, I'm going to start to reach and get into this upper back first, upper back. I'm pressing that belly button in from the get-go, but I'm reaching through this upper spine and then getting into the lower spine as I reach forward, wherever you want to go with that. Big inhale here. I'm just going to exhale into this forward bend for a minute. Quick inhale. And now we're going to pull into that belly button to stack, stack. Arms are still trying to reach away until we get to the top where the head is pulling up really tall out of the center, really tall. Big inhale and reach as we round, 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 round forward. Wherever you can go, reaching those arms away. Quick inhale at the end, and I'm sinking into this forward stretch. Now, quick inhale and reach. Coming, stacking all the way back up. Stack, 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 till the head is pulling again into the length and the top of the spine. Gosh, this feels good. So you've got to just make sure you keep that back tall. So probably most of you will want to be sitting on something as a support, as I am doing now. So big inhale at the top and round, 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 round. Articulate through the spine. So pay attention. That's why we're going slow. This is not easy if you're doing it with deliberation, and control, coming to the bottom, and especially cueing into what's happening into your spine. So quick inhale here, and now we're going to start to stack, stack, stack. We're rounding from that top or undoing the round. Stacking, stacking, stacking all the way until that head pulls really, really tall. Okay, fantastic. Now we're going to go into our lateral bend. I'm just going to turn myself to face the front. So really tall here. Shoulder always goes down first. Shoulder is the first thing. And then as you sink into this, you're pulling the hand over your head away from the sitting hip. So this long line, this drives down and then this pulls away, two opposite points. Come to the center, big inhale. Same thing, shoulder down first, pulling away from that sitting hip that drives down, back into the center. Pull, pull, pull. Hip drives into the ground, center. Always center up and then bend, bend into that bend. Great. Pulling away from the hip, back to the center. Great. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of saw. And actually for saw, I'm going to take my support away because I'm opening up. You could have kept it. In fact, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll keep that support under there for saw. So staying elevated with it this time. Arms out wide. And now we twist first. So that's always where we have a twist and then bending pinky to pinky as I look back at my hand. Quick bob back into the center. Big inhale. Pinky to pinky. Reach those hands apart from each other. Back into center. Yep. Taking this out. Taking this out. So twist pinky to pinky, but keep those hips solidly anchored, right? The hips are not twisting with you. They're staying anchored, both of those hip bones. So pay attention as those hands pull apart. Inhale, twist into that saw. Bobbing, reaching, inhale to the center. Twist. Great. Let's come back up into the center. Checking my time. Oh, I gotta speed things up a little bit. Okay, prone. So any of you, any pregnant people out there, you're just going to do this all on your hands and knees, whatever we do, where you're going to extend up through the head where you can. Otherwise, the rest of you come on your stomach, reaching out for baby swan. So big inhale here. Head gets long out of the top of the head. Head gets longer, 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 lengthen in that spine, and then start to extend, right? The engagement starts in your hips, in your glutes. You're pressing the pelvis in, and then you slowly move up from low to mid till the head is the last to come up and release. Big inhale at the bottom. Exhale. First, grow the spine long. First, grow the spine long, and as it's lengthening, you start to extend and you're still pulling that head into the longest length you can. The shoulders should naturally drop. The longer you can get your spine growing into that extension. Come all the way back down. Big inhale. Length, length, length. Point in those toes. Let's try to draw those legs a little tighter together. Draw a little tighter as you grow into the length. Drop. Big inhale at the bottom. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Extend, extend, extend. Keep pulling higher into that. Pulling your legs, zipping those legs a little closer together as you do this. A little closer, a little closer. Release. Okay, coming down. Now we're going to go into a little bit of our single and double. Well, before we do that, let's do a quick quad stretch. So quad stretch, you can do this laying down or you can do it standing, obviously. If you're doing it standing, let me just show that modification quickly. You'll use something like, support, maybe something a little higher than this if you have it. to get into that quad stretch, right? Where you could bring your foot up a little higher if you can't hold on to it or hold on to something while you're trying to get into that quad stretch. But as we're doing it on the mat here, reaching back to grab that foot, take a big inhale, and now exhale into the hip. The hip, the same hip that our foot is with. We're pressing it into the mat, pulling the foot closer, pressing the shoulder down, a little pelvic tuck, meaning you're scooping that pelvis under to intensify that stretch, that deep stretch in the quad. Just tuck into that. Press that hip, pull the foot a little closer, and switch to the other side. Big inhale into the hip. Hip presses in. You pull the foot closer, press your shoulder down, and a little tuck. These cues are all the same if you're standing as well. The same thing happening. So big inhale again. Hip. You'll be pressing it forward if you're standing. Trying to send the knee shooting straight down. We don't have that issue here because we're laying on a mat. Pull the foot closer. Tuck in the pelvis. Pull and release. Okay, now going into our singles. Singles. So singles, we come up on our arms. Again, we're still trying to work on growing that spine tall. If you stop growing the spine, you just fall into this, right? That's not what we want. So extend, grow as long as you can and maintain that the whole time. So we're bringing the legs in, just come in very gently, tapping, tapping, making sure you stay super centered and you're pulling that spine long. So they're taking turns coming in, right? Tapping close, be very careful, be very gentle. Everything, everything. If anything's happening in your body ever that is feeling a little weird, or you're like, "Oh, I don't think this is," just stop and or slow it down or go do less, just make the range a little smaller. Do whatever you have to do. We're just constantly listening to the body. So keep that spine as long as possible. Yep, coming in, breathing in as we tap. Just one more set before we go into the doubles. So laying down all the way now for doubles. Small of the hands on the back. We're going to bring both those legs in tight, tapping in, tapping, tapping. Then as we send them out, arms will follow, or you can keep your arms by your side if you're having issues with that. Just lift through the top of the head. So come back, tap, tap in, and extend on that exhale. So come back in, tapping, tapping, really tight with those flexed feet. We're hog-tied, and then reach away, reach away. Come back in, tap, tap, reach out. So head grows out of the base of the pelvis, right? That spine is staying long. Come in and grow. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Come in, tap, tap, and lengthen. Great. And release. Okay, we're going to go into a little bit of a rest position. So just press back, kind of move those hips from side to side so you can stay nice and loose there. Nice and loose in those hips. Just sinking into one side, sinking into the other side. And then we're coming into all fours. Okay, paying attention now to what's happening across our shoulders first. This little exercise called sternum drops, it's crucial to understand that the spine needs to stay long. So there's none of this or there's none of this, right? We're keeping the spine long in that long neutral position. It's in between the shoulder blades that we can drop and then pull back up in between those shoulder blades. So if you watch what's happening here as I'm standing here, I can bring my shoulders back. See, I can retract and then protract while my spine is staying totally steady and intact. So retract, protract, right, as I come forward and reach forward. So you're feeling those scapula kind of wrap back behind your spine and then come back and move forward. That's exactly what's happening. We're just doing it on all fours. So as we come back, spine is long. So you sink the spine in between the shoulder blades and then pull back up. Sternum drops because you feel like that sternum is dropping, not the belly button, just the sternum. And then it presses back up in between those shoulder blades, nice and long. So drop, inhale, exhale, press back up so we can protract, right, with those two scapula. Now we're going to go into opposite arm leg reach. So balancing yourself, take a big inhale. And now on the exhale, lifting the opposite arm and leg, you're reaching that hand away from the foot and you change. Inhale on the change as you balance a cup of water on your back and reach into the exhale. Inhale on the change, reach. So if you're doing this with a support in front of your chest, you're just going to work on the leg, right? The legs. If you can't use your arms, inhale on the change. Just then back one leg at a time. You can work the same principle, which is balance and steady control through the core as the leg and or arm change. In fact, that's kind of the pre-exercise to doing both the arms and the legs is just working on the legs first, seeing if you can keep the whole core steady and balanced. So there's not a lot of wobbling back and forth, right? You're trying to say, okay, legs, you can extend and work without losing everything in the center. The center is helping that stay steady in that extension if you don't want to do arms and legs. And or just do them separately, right? Now I'm going to try doing it with just my arms where there's no loss of steadiness. It's like I could actually put a cup of water right on my back and I'm pressing up out of those shoulders. I'm maintaining, that same protraction, right? Where we're round across the shoulder blades. I'm maintaining that. Okay, we're going to stay here, go right into a plank. So big inhale. And now exhale, sending out both those legs or onto your knees, wherever you want to be, wherever you want to be. But let's just rock back on the heels. Just rock back and forth. Keep pressing up out of those shoulders. Rock, rock, rock back for 3, 2, last one. Release. Okay. Coming onto our backs for some single and double, a little bit of breaking. So single straight leg, big inhale. Now use the abs to lift those legs up, straighten up, and you can also come up with the top of the body if you want to, or stay back. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep the legs straight now as we drop one, quick tap, tap in twice, tap, tap, right? Reach down. You can stay here. You can even bring both arms up and pull in. There's lots of variations. Just keep that cup of water balancing on your core. One more set and release both legs up, palms behind the head. You can keep your arms down here or right here. So either way is fine. Let's just go ahead and lower, big inhale, just to the degree that you can keep that spine intact and then pull back in. So if at any point you start to lose the position of the spine, meaning the back starts to arch, then that's too far. So inhale, I can go pretty low, keeping my spine intact. Inhale, but I actually like doing a shorter one because I get a little deeper. Inhale, and I can press a little deeper into that and release. Oh, except go right into crisscross. So for crisscross, either your arms can stay here, send that sternum directly to the knee. Twist to the other side, sternum to knee. Twist sternum to knee. You can also have your elbows right by you to help direct that upper body, not the elbows, but the upper body is twisting, right? Great. For 3 more sets and 2. Last one. Release. Okay. Palms by the side. set and line those feet up, right with the knees, right with the hip bones. So take a big inhale. Now on the exhale, we're going to start to tuck the pelvis and roll up. Now you also have the option, I never say this, but you can also lift in one piece. Instead of rolling through every vertebra, like I just barely did, what you would do is get that spine in a neutral position, big inhale, and then just lift with flat back, one piece. Press up, press up with one piece and come down. Big inhale at the bottom. Now, I should say, I forgot to say this. If you are bridging, you don't want to have that head elevated, head not elevated. You have to keep head in line with the spine. So be careful about that. Big inhale, and it's okay to take a quick break if you want to from having any kind of incline or elevation coming all the way up. We're just going to hold this for 3, 2, 1. Roll all the way back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll back up. Now hold those hips parallel to the mat. Hold them parallel to the mat. You don't have to do this, but you can do some leg lifts to tabletop. Press up in between. So you bring a leg up to tabletop and press. Leg to tabletop and press. Leg to tabletop and press and release. Okay, coming back down, pulling those knees in, just rocking back and forth, massaging that low back. Yep, just massage that low back. You want everything to be good there. Going into the best part, the side leg series. So coming onto the side, and I'm watching my time because we got to make sure we get through this. So, okay, so that arm is going to reach out underneath. Everything's in line. Palm in front, stack the hips. Now we're bringing the legs at a little bit of an angle, 45-degree angle, right? Feet are flexed, arm down. As I start into that lift, just watching everything in those hips, right? You can make that lift as big as you want it to be, pulling down through. Just keep everything stacked, lined up, palm underneath the head. I'm doing a little point as I go up and I flex through to get deeper into those adductors. Inhale up. Flex to come down. Keep pressing the shoulder down on that supporting arm. Great. Now I'm going to stop so I can circle. All right. As soon as we get into something where that leg is moving back and forth, it's easier to lose the stability. So slow it down. Let's reverse that circle. Stay stable. Maintain that stability. Inhale and exhale. Just breathe through it. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, stop. Now we're going to kick forward and then kick back, kicking back. So you kick forward, stay stable. Keep that spine nice and long, pulling up, kick back. All right, kick forward and kick back. Great. Now send those legs out straight. If you want to have your arm out by your side, you can. It'll help you to reach longer in the arm to stay steady and balanced. If not, just keep that palm right in front. So big inhale. Now we're coming up into those bananas, right? That arm underneath is trying to lift too. You can keep it down, whatever you need. So inhale, just be where you need to be, but reach in that arm. Inhale, reach. Inhale, reach deep into those obliques. Inhale at the bottom. Reach. Inhale, reach, and release. Let's roll over or go to the other side, however you want to, or you can just listen and roll over, right, to the other side. You don't have to watch. You don't have to watch. Arm is underneath. Let's go ahead and start to lift and pull back through. Sorry, keep those legs at a 45-degree angle. 45. I forgot to set that. Set those hips. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, pull through. Inhale. We're still balancing and steadying yourself in the front. Pull into this. So I have my hip open slightly, meaning that My feet aren't really parallel when I'm doing this because the bigger you get, the more you need to kind of open that foot a little bit, right? So it goes into some external rotation, which opens the hip up. So inhale up, exhale down, inhale up and down. Let's go into our circles. So lots of stability, lots of steadiness as you circle through this. Circle, circle. Just keep paying attention to the rest of the body. Nothing is working independently of anything else. Reverse that circle. They're all working together. Just breathe through it. If you try to work independently, that's where you have problems, right? If you're turning everything off in the upper body and you're not seeing how it's aligned with everything else, that's where we have issues. Let's kick front and kick back. So we're going to kick front a couple of times, kick back a couple of times, kick front and kick back, kick front, kick back. Okay, kick front, kick back, come to the side for our bananas. Arm reaches out or can steady yourself here. But you're lifting those legs from the side, right? Inhale at the bottom, lift. We're getting into this oblique, lift into that reach. So you lift the upper body a little bit to get right into that oblique. Keep lifting. Right, inhale at the bottom. Exhale as you come up. Get into that oblique last time. Great. All right, coming on to our back. We're going to do a little bit of our piriformis stretch. That's where we cross one leg over the other, if you can, and you can press that leg out a little bit farther if you need to. Whatever can kind of help you bend that leg to get right on top. Take a big inhale. Now on the exhale, we start to bring that knee in a little closer to wherever you're able to bring that, if you can, because both hips can sometimes impede that. Maybe all you have to do is stay right here. Stay right here and try to sink into a little bit of those hips pressing down. So everybody's in a different place. We'll switch to the other side. So one leg comes down, try to cross over the top and start sinking into those hips, arching the back just a little bit. Inhale, shoulders press down. We've arched the back a little bit as we're sitting here to try to deepen that stretch into those hips. Picking the leg up, it just depends on the person where we're at, all right? Everybody's in a different place or wherever their body is in a different place. Great. Then we're going to roll ourselves up and with my time, I think we're going to have to finish up here. So we'll just come out of this. If you want to do some more planks at the end, you can do that to do a few more planks, but otherwise we'll just finish for today. That's basically where it's at. So I'll keep seeing you guys.